Good evening, Internet. Welcome back. It is Tuesday, the 12th of December, and we are back with some Starfleet Battles Academy. I've got Bennett with me. Hey, Bennett, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Fantastic. Very, very happy to have you back. Finals are over, and everything's good to go on your end.
Thank
Settling
the
in
Lord.
for. What's that?
Thank the Lord.
No kidding. Settling in for a long winter's nap, as it were, and gonna enjoy ourselves these last few days of streaming for the year. You know how it goes with schedules being a little bit hectic with holiday stuff. We are likely to be a little bit spotty on the schedule here for the next little bit, but happy we can get at least one more of these in before things drop off for the holiday season. See, Olives is joining us. That makes me happy. We're switching things up a little bit tonight. We've been playing Federation and Klingon for all four episodes so far, but we're gonna switch empires and head to the galactic east, I guess. So if you look at a map of the Starfleet Battles universe, or the Starfleet Battles galaxy, I guess, the Federation sit directly in the center, and everything is centered around Earth. To the west are the Klingons and some of the other races that we haven't really spent a whole lot of time talking about yet. But to the east, to the northeast, are the Gorn, and to the southeast are the Romulans. And the Romulans and Gorn are habitual or perennial enemies. They have spent a lot of time in the galactic timeline, I guess, or the galactic history, at war with one another. Um, their ships and their tactics are very similar, in that instead of direct fire heavy weapons like the photon torpedo and the disruptor, they rely on seeking weapons called plasma torpedoes. We'll get into that, exactly what that means here very, very shortly. In addition, the the reptilian Gorn are very much close with and destroy the enemy. Get in close, stay in close, and hammer them. Their ships tend to have more offensive capabilities than defensive. They tend to be able to take a little bit more of a hit than their counterparts, and they tend to be more like floating bathtubs than ships in that their turn modes. They call them the battle barges. They don't have really great turn modes. So yeah, their whole deal is getting in close and then just hammering over and over and over. The Romulans, on the other hand, are more similar to the Klingons. In fact, a lot of Romulan ships are just converted Klingon ships. At least their earlier stuff. Some of their later stuff, like the Hawk class cruisers, similar or including what we're going to be using this evening, are a little bit sleeker, a little bit more defined, and a little bit more upgraded, and have their own kind of idiosyncrasies. But they're very much like the Klingons in that they tend to play a little bit of a hit and run game. And to assist them with this, they have the famous Romulan cloaking device, which doesn't actually make them invisible on the map, or doesn't necessarily. There are rules where you can play it that way, but it makes it so they are much more difficult to damage while they are under cloak. They can't fire or do anything truly offensive while they're under cloak, but they are much, much harder to hit and to actually do damage to during that time. Um, so we're going to dive right off into what all that means here in just a little bit. Introducing the ships. On the Gorn side, Bennett is going to be playing the Heavy Command Destroyer. And don't be fooled. It is not that the ship that he's flying is not really a destroyer. It's more like a light cruiser. But similar to the Klingons, the Gorn have their own kind of ship classification system. They call anything that is smaller than a cruiser a destroyer. Um, very much like the Klingons call everything that is everything that has warp engines and guns on it is a battle cruiser. Doesn't matter what size it is, up to a certain point. Anything lower than a dreadnought is a battlecruiser. The Gorns are very, very proud of their destroyer, and it's a nice ship. It's got 8 phaser ones and 3 heavy weapons. So whereas on my side, the Romulan Sparrowhawk A light cruiser, it's a standard light cruiser variety. For them, like I said before, it's part of their Hawk series, which is their later model ships. Perfected some of the things that their older Eagle class and then their later Kestrel class, kind of their Kestrels, which were purchased and upgraded from Klingon ships. They've worked out some of the bugs, and the Hawk class are considerably better. They have better firing arcs. They have they're sleeker and a little bit more efficient, I guess. But they do not tend to take hits very well. They are a bit more on the defensive side than the Gorn. They've got this one. The Sparrowhawk has 5 phaser 1s and 4 phaser 3s. They have the same heavy weapon complement, 3 plasma torpedoes, and their shields are considerably better than some of their older model classes, like the Kestrels and the Eagle class. But that's the ships that we're going to be rolling with this evening. Let's talk a little bit about plasma torpedoes. Plasma torpedoes are very similar to what you're already familiar with as with the drones. Once they're placed on the board, they are seeking weapons. They move toward their target in a very similar manner to drones, but their warhead strength is considerably higher in that they are the primary heavy weapon of the plasma-using ships. Plasma F torpedoes, which is their basic type, on most of their ships, are 20 points of damage if they hit, or at least if they hit it at their full warhead strength. But the plasma torpedoes, as they move, the number of moves that they have done prior to hitting their target changes their warhead strength. They lose strength as they go. So a plasma torpedo, a plasma F torpedo that has moved more than 5 hexes before it strikes its target, it drops down into a lower category of damage, which I think is 15, as opposed to the initial 20. And then if it moves more than 10 hexes, it drops down to 10 and continues to deteriorate out to 1 and then 0 points of damage eventually. The Plasma G, which is on both of these ships prior to their refit, they're also 20 points of plasma, 20 points of damage, but they deteriorate slower. The Plasma S torpedo is the standard heavy plasma for most cruisers, and it starts at a whopping 30 points of power, or 30 points of damage whenever it starts out, and then deteriorates. It drops off pretty quickly as well, similar to the F. But because it has a larger starting number, obviously it deteriorates. The number doesn't deteriorate quite as fast as the F does. It still can pack a wall up even after it's moved 5 or 10 times. Not featured on either of these ships this evening is the Dreadnought class Plasma R, which starts out as 50 points of damage, and it's a very daunting thing to face down a ship that has a Plasma R on it if you're not of a similar size class, as that is a lot of damage right up front that can do a lot to your ship if it strikes. We'll talk about for a second so the plasma torpedoes have an interesting uniqueness to them in that their launchers can function even after they've been destroyed. If you have a plasma torpedo that has been powered and you take a hit and you lose that torpedo launcher, you can still fire that torpedo within 8 impulses of it being destroyed. So there's a little bit of a less emphasis on trying to get trying to close range and fire your weapons before you get hit. And it's more focused on getting within range to put your plasmas in an advantageous position to where you can do damage to your opponent. You still have 8 impulses even after the launcher is destroyed to try to do that. But then after that 8 impulses is done, you can't repower that plasma. You can't fire it again after that. Plasma torpedoes take 3 turns to charge. They have each plasma type has its own unique charging sequence. Like the Fs require 1 point of power the first 2 turns, and then 3 points of power on the final turn. So it's 1, 1, 3, and it can be fired on that third turn once that 3 points of power has been allocated. I think the Gs require 1, 1, 4, and the S's require 2, 2, 3. The R's
the G's are 2, 2 is
2, 2, 3 as well. Okay, yeah,
I think it's 2, 2, 3 and 2, 2, 4.
2, 2, 3 and 2, 2, 4. Okay.
Yeah.
I know that the R is 2, 2, 5, and that is the worst that it gets. I'm scrolling through the rules here real quick to see if I can find the table for.
Yeah.
For
R is 2, 2, 4.
Oh.
S is.
Here
sorry, I read it wrong. R is 2, 2, 5. S is 2, 2, 4. G is 2, 2, 3, and F is 1, 1, 3.
Right. Yeah. I got it here up on the screen as well.
And then I can start charging whatever, and as long I could start charging an S, and I don't have to make that decision till the end, right?
Yeah.
If it's an S or
the
G.
decision. Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So you can always download your plasma torpedoes. In that, if you have an S launcher, you can load it as a G, where you put that first 2 turns of power as 2s, and you can determine on the final turn whether you're going to put the 4 points of power or the 3 points of power into it, and determine whether it's an S or a G. You can't upload. Sorry, go ahead.
No, just finish really quick.
You can't upload by making an F a higher grade of torpedo from an F launcher, but you can download a torpedo in a lower launcher if you don't have the power to complete it as its standard type. Holding costs are as they're shown here on the screen. An S requires 2 points of power to hold. A G requires 1. And an F you don't have to hold. Once it's fully loaded, fully charged, it can be held without power. It's basically considered to be placed in stasis, and it doesn't require any power unless you are charging it in a different sized launcher. If you charged it in a G launcher or an S launcher, it would still require 1 point of power to hold it if you didn't fire it on that turn.
Then
go ahead.
For the decisions, if we're doing a special type, like an enveloping or shotgun, we also can wait till the last charging turn to make that decision?
Correct. And so I want to get into the enveloping and the shotgun. So shotgun is probably not going to be terribly useful for this particular encounter. This is more for fleet battle. But shotgun, so there are two types of what we would consider overloads for a plasma torpedo. That would be the enveloping plasma torpedo and the shotgun. Shotguns will allow for a larger launcher, like a G, an S, or an R, to be fired as multiple smaller torpedoes. I think the plasma G will. I think the plasma G is 2 F torpedoes. I'll have to confirm that. The plasma S is 3, and the plasma R is 5 plasma F torpedoes. The issue there is that whenever you fire the shotgun, each torpedo coming from that launcher has to be fired at a different target. So you can't load it as a shotgun and then fire all 5 from your plasma R shotgun, all 5 torpedoes at one target, and do 100 points of power, 100 points of damage to that particular target. It does require for each of the torpedoes launched at the shotgun time to be directed at a different target. The enveloping plasma torpedo is exactly as it's printed on the tin. It envelops the target and does additional damage across all shields as compared to a larger chunk of damage to a single shield whenever it strikes. For either of these types of overloads, you double the last turn of loading, double the energy on the last turn of loading, and then it cannot be held. You have to fire it on that turn if you charge it as an overload, as an enveloping plasma torpedo or a shotgun. It is possible, however, to complete a plasma torpedo as a standard type and then use reserve power to push it over the edge. So, like, for instance, if I had a plasma torpedo, a plasma S, I finished the loading on it as a normal standard plasma S with 4 points of power. I have 4 batteries. I can put 4 points of power from my batteries at firing time and make it into an enveloping torpedo. So it is possible to do that. But again, once the power is there to overload, whether it is as an enveloping torpedo or as a shotgun, once that turn is ended, that plasma torpedo had better be fired, or you will lose it regardless. It cannot be held at that point in time. One additional thing that is different between plasma torpedoes and drones is that plasma torpedoes do not have to be guided to their target. They have what is considered as self-guidance. Once it's launched, the torpedo provides its own guidance. You don't have to hold onto it or maintain a lock onto another ship to guide it to its target, like you do with drones. So there's no limit to the number of plasma torpedoes you could have in play at any given moment, because there's no guidance channels on your ship that is maintaining those torpedoes. You can maintain that control if you want to utilize your ECCM, your ship's ECCM on that torpedo, but you don't have to. Plasma torpedoes have their own built-in ECCM. They're all considered to have 3 points of ECCM all by themselves. Doesn't require any power to give them that. So they automatically burn through 3 points of ECM no matter what. What else? Electronic warfare can't stop a plasma torpedo from being fired, but it does reduce its effect when it reaches the target. There is a table in the electronic warfare segment that shows where is it? It's in D, under electronic warfare, where an EM shift will cause the torpedo to detonate maybe a little further away from the ship than it should have and cause less damage whenever it hits. So we'll go and look at that here in just a bit. One other thing that I wanted to mention is the pseudo plasma torpedo. Pseudo plasma torpedo. Each launcher on board a ship has a single pseudo torpedo, which looks by all accounts like a normal plasma torpedo, but whenever it strikes its target, it does no damage. It can be used to it can be used for a number of different things, but it's a tactical advantage, used to gain a tactical advantage by making your opponent think that you fired a real torpedo, when you actually have not. So keep that in mind. It doesn't return whenever you charge up a new torpedo. You have one per scenario per launcher. So for Bennett's ship this evening, he has 3 launchers, an S and 2 Fs. There we go. An S torpedo here in the center, and 2 F torpedoes on each wing. That means he has 1 S pseudo and 2 F pseudos. And the same with my ship. I have 1 S torpedo and 2 Fs. So I would have 3 total pseudo torpedoes as well. You don't have to declare whenever you're launching a pseudo torpedo as opposed to a standard torpedo or a real torpedo. Um, the only time that you have to reveal whether it was real or fake is whenever it strikes something. If a plasma torpedo is destroyed through phaser fire, then obviously you don't have to determine or reveal whether it was real or not. Though you do have to, at the moment that you fire that torpedo, you do have to record that on your form. What else? Plasma torpedoes can be destroyed, but they cannot be targeted by anything except for phasers. Plasma torpedoes will not target each other. And phaser fire, every 2 points of damage done by a phaser will reduce the warhead strength of the plasma torpedo by 1. So for a plasma torpedo that is F class, which has a warhead strength of 20, for the first 5 moves, it can be destroyed with 40 points of damage, or it can be reduced, its warhead strength can be reduced by every 2 points of damage that you do to it with phasers. But it is only phasers that will do damage to a plasma torpedo. You can't mine them, you can't fire drones at them or other plasma torpedoes at them. There's really no other way to damage them apart from firing phasers at them. Plasma torpedoes can be attracted by a wild weasel, so keep that in mind. And they react just like drones in that case. Plasmas cannot be put onto a scatterpack shuttle, or rather they can, but not the type that we have on these ships. It is possible to have a plasma scatterpack, but that is a very rare sort of scenario where a ship has a plasma D launcher. Ds are smaller, more portable, drone-like plasma torpedoes that only do 10 points of damage and fall off very, very quickly. It is possible to do that, but it is fairly rare. And then, what else? I think that's it. Do you have any questions on plasma torpedoes, Bennett, before we get rolling?
So enveloping
Oh,
torpedoes.
yeah.
So it says that you said that they deal damage to all the shields, whatever, divided by 6.
Correct.
In the rule book, it has what happens if there's shields and what happens if there's no shields.
Correct.
What happens if some of the shields are down? Like
So,
if I hit you with an enveloping and you have 4 out of 6 of your shields up.
So you still take damage on all sides, regardless of whether you have shields there or not. Whether or not there is a shield there determines whether the damage goes as shield damage or internal damage.
Perfect. I was just making sure.
But here, there is a rule that it shows right here in the book, and I'll show it to you. And it shows here on FP 5.32. Enveloping plasma torpedoes strike with other seeking weapons, but are treated as a separate volley. Penetrating hits from any or all of the 6 shields are resolved internally as a single volley. So, if you were to hit me with an enveloping plasma torpedo and I had 2 of my shields down, whatever the warhead strength divided by 6 is that would hit on either of those 2 shields would go in as internals on both of those 2 shields, but it would be resolved as a single volley for purposes of underlined hits on the DAC.
That's fine. I was just making sure that it wasn't like a shields only weapon.
No, it is most certainly is not. And I didn't specify the damage, the warhead strength of the torpedo is doubled before it is divided. So a plasma F, which normally starts out as a 20-point plasma warhead, if it's done as an enveloping torpedo, it goes as it has a strength of 40, and then that is divided over all 6 shields evenly with remainders dropped. So 6 points of damage on each shield if it strikes still as a 40.
I could. Oh, that's okay. I
Um,
did not realize that.
yeah.
That changes some things.
Let me confirm. Let's see. Um, General reinforcement applies to the warhead strength prior to dividing it. So if you have general reinforcement on for all of your shields, and a plasma torpedo strikes you, or an enveloping plasma torpedo strikes you, that damage is taken off of the warhead strength before it is divided. So um, a 40 point plasma hitting a shield with 7 points of general reinforcement becomes a 33 point plasma before it is divided down. I'm sorry, the remainder is not dropped, but it is placed on shields of the target owner's choice, but no more than one per shield. So 40 points of plasma is 6 points to be distributed to all 6 shields, and then 4 points to be placed on one per shield by the owner of the
If
target.
we have a shield down, can we tank that internally if we wanted to?
You can. You absolutely
Great.
can. But one per shield, obviously.
Yeah.
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 Okay, so that's plasma torpedoes. Um, Whenever you launch the plasma torpedo, you don't have to say what type it is necessarily, but you do have to provide the warhead strength at the start. So if I fired all 3 of my plasma torpedoes, but my plasma S was a enveloping torpedo, I would say there's 2 20-point plasmas and 1 60-point plasma, because the enveloping plasma torpedo has a double warhead strength.
Sounds good.
All right, on to the cloaking device. Cloaking device is a strange thing that is limited to only Romulans and then some Orion pirates. It allows for, it's basically a in this definition, or this context, is a very powerful form of ECM that can actually cause enemy ships to lose lock on to the target. Remove that. So once the cloaking device is turned on, the ship that begins the cloaking device begins a 5 impulse countdown, where it's considered a fade out, where each impulse that they are in their fade out segment, or fade out sequence, they are a little harder to hit, as they are effectively fading out of um, fading out of your sensors, essentially. They are technically rendered invisible, or they are not technically rendered invisible, as they still show up on the map. But each impulse that they are fading, their effective range is farther away. I'm going to show this. So there's a table in the rule book specifically for this. It's going to be display capture. There we go. So, for instance, if I turned on, that's the fade on, here's the fade out. If I were to turn on the cloaking device, on impulse 20, and my effective range to you, Bennett, was 3, then whenever I turned it on, the very next impulse 1, I would be considered a +1 range. So I'd be considered range 4 to you for purposes of phasers and things like that. Every impulse after that, it would be 1 additional point of range. So I'd be at a +5. And then at the 6th and final impulse, where it is effectively turned on, the range doubles and adds 5. Now, this is assuming that a lock-on, you're not able to maintain a lock-on to the cloak ship. The turning on of the cloaking device requires you to roll, and there's a table I will have to look for that determines how difficult it is to maintain a lock-on. Here, so it's a formula, not so much a table, but the probability of returning a lock-on equals your sensor rating minus an EW shift, so ECM, ECCM, minus the range factor, which, depending on the true range to the target, It is considerably harder at longer ranges. And then the speed factor, so faster ships are easier to lock on because they have a higher warp signature, -4. So let's say that I was at range 8. I started to cloak. Let's see. After fade out is completed, you attempt to retain a lock on, and you would take your at range 8. We'll say I'm moving at speed 12 at range 8. So your sensor rating to start would be 6, as most ships are. Let's say, for instance, for sake of argument this time, that there's no electronic warfare, ECM, ECCM shift. The range factor would be, since I was at range 8, it would be -1, so it'd be a 5. Speed factor would add 2, so it'd be a 7. -4 would be a 3. That would be the number that you would have to roll equal to or less than to maintain a lock-on. If you lose your lock-on, then the range modifier applies ×2 + 5. So if I was still at that range 8, my effective range to you then would be 21 for purposes of firing at me while I was under cloak, while you didn't have a lock on. Now there is a possibility, there's a number of different ways where you can attempt to retain or regain a lock on, but it is considerably harder to do that at that point in time, as the reacquisition of a lock on goes with the same the same formula, but it is at a -10 at the end instead of a -4. So if you're attempting to reacquire a lock on, and you change the parameters, like through EW or through range or something like that, you could attempt to relock on, but it is considerably harder to do so. And then as long as you don't have a lock on, that the penalty, the range penalty, applies. There's some changes to how cloaking device changes how seeking weapons function as well. So number one, if you do not have a lock on to the target, then any seeking weapons that you control are just automatically lost. If your seeking weapons, like your plasma torpedoes, who maintain their own lock-ons to the target, if a seeking weapon is in play that has self-guidance, and a cloak is completed during that time, the fade out is completed on a cloak, each of those seeking weapons rolls to retain a lock-on by itself. If for any reason it ever loses a lock-on, it effectively is lost. It detonates, it loses its tracking, whatever, but it is removed from the board. If a seeking weapon is able to maintain its lock-on through the entirety of its track, or through its seeking track, and actually reaches a target that is under cloak, it rolls on this table to determine how much damage it actually does, because the cloak does protect the cloak ship from seeking weapon damage up to a certain point as well. ECM does not help that particular role. I don't think. Let's see. A shift could be caused by more natural means, but generally speaking, it's a 1 to 6 to determine if it does normal damage, half damage, or quarter damage. If there was some natural means of providing additional ECM, like terrain or something like that, that could shift that number further, then it could potentially do no damage at all. There are a number of things that the cloaking ship cannot do while it's under cloak. Number one, active fire control is turned off for the entire time that the cloak is on. So it means no firing phasers or any type of weapons that require active fire control. Ships cannot ships can't pick up shuttles, though they can launch shuttles. Let's see. ships, cloaked ships, can use transporters, but during an impulse that it does use its transporters, it can be locked onto, and the impulse after. It is possible to then re-lose that lock once the cloak goes back on. Tractor beam. Let's see. Tractors. Tractor beam. Let's see. I don't see that it says. Oh, you have to have an active lock on. You have to have active fire control to use your tractor, but you lose if you're under tractor lock. You lose the range benefit of the cloak if you're actually held in a tractor. So it doesn't matter if I'm fully cloaked. If you've got me at range 1 and you've got me tractored, fully tractoring or still having me tractored during while I'm fully cloaked makes the effective range still 1 because you know exactly where I am. You can fire at the end of your tractor beam. Negative tractors does not affect a cloaking device at all. I could still, if you're attempting to tractor me while I'm cloaked, I can still stop that with a negative tractor. Let's see, electronic warfare cannot use ECCM. Cloaked ship cannot use ECCM because its fire control is not active. Can't loan ECM, doesn't matter because we're not doing that. It can receive ECM from natural sources, so on and so forth. What else? There is a means a cloaked ship that hits a mine becomes temporarily visible to your sensors and can be locked onto. It's called the flash cube effect, and it's not specifically mentioned here. Here it is, actually. A ship with a cloaking device entering a hex within the detection radius of an explosive mine or T-bomb has a reduced chance of detonating it. In such cases, add 3 to the roll, but an unadjusted roll of 1 always means explosion. A cloaked ship is exposed and can be locked onto during the impulse, in which it is inside the blast area of a mine explosion. So it's very similar to if it were to use a transporter during the time that it's cloaked. For that impulse, while it hits, it can be locked onto and fired on. But there is a reduced chance of actually setting off a mine while you're cloaked. What else? Most of these other things don't apply to us because we're not using it. And the hidden movement rule we're not using, as that is it makes the game a lot more difficult for the non-cloaking player, as I would remove my ship from your view, and you would have to try to guess where I am based on different factors.
Yes, I'm sure Olives would also love to watch that.
Yeah, that'd be a very, very difficult. I mean, it's not impossible to play, but they do suggest that the non-cloaking player should have a BPV advantage of 33% to account for the disadvantage of not knowing where the cloaked ship is. So we're not going to do that. There's also optional rules about experience and tracking cloaked ships we're not going to use. If we were playing more of a campaign style game where things we did mattered to a grander scheme, then we might use that, but we're not using it today. Okay, I think that covers everything that we needed to cover for the purposes of the new rules for this evening. Do you have any other questions, Bennett? Yeah, go ahead.
So is there any sort of delay I have to abide by between firing a pseudo plasma torpedo and a not fake one?
I believe that there is, but I can confirm that for you by a quick check of the rules. So I think that, as with anything else, I think that there is a limit in the number of times that a launcher can fire in a given, I guess, a period of 8 impulses. I think the 8 impulse rule applies there, but I don't know that to be certain, so I'm going to look. Like I said, it's been a little while since I've played the Plasma Boys, so there's a little bit of this that I don't recall chapter and verse. So I'm gonna pull that up and see if I can get that for you right away.
Right. And then, well, I'll let you find that first.
Go ahead and ask your other question. I can
Okay.
multitask.
So there is a limited amount of transporter bombs on my ship. Is there a limited amount of mines I can roll out the back?
The mines that you're rolling out at the back are your transporter bombs.
Okay.
So you have
Damn
a hard cap at 4.
Yeah. That's
Though you can place the dummy ones.
Mm-hmm. But the dummy ones don't show me where you are.
But the dummy ones do not help. Yeah, that's correct.
And then tractor beam, if you're trying to cancel out my tractor beam, that's when we go into the auction, right?
Correct. Yeah, there's a tractor auction that happens at any time that you're attempting to lock a tractor beam onto another ship.
Yep. All right. That's all.
Let's see. One per... Says a pseudoplasma torpedo cannot be fired from the same impulse as a real torpedo from the same launcher.
Okay,
but it does
so I
not
can fire.
Yeah, you could fire them on
and then the next impulse I can fire normally.
Correct.
Great. All right.
All right. Let's see. Oh, plasma torpedoes move at speed 32. So they will move every impulse after they're launched. So we can determine the number of times that they have moved based on the impulse that they were launched.
Great.
And then one more time, here is the arming cost. F's are 113, G's are 223, S's are 224. Double the last turn of arming for an overload. F's cannot be overloaded. It's not possible to overload EPT or shotgun an F. And then the damage on a torpedo is based on the number of times that it has moved. 0 to 5 is top strength. Oh shit! I completely forgot about bolts. We'll talk about that here real quick. But then 6 to 10, the F's start to fall off. 11 to 12, 13, all the way down to once the F has moved 15 times, its 16th move, it's a strength of 0 and it's removed from the play.
All right.
Plasma torpedoes can be fired direct fire. If you think that there's a possibility that you're not going to be able to land a seeking weapon, but you have an opportunity to fire, you roll a die and you fire it as a bolt. You roll a die 1 to 4 at range 0 to 5, 1 to 3 at range 6 to 10, 1 to 2. Those are the hits. The damage for the warhead, the maximum strength warhead, is halved, but it is applied directly as though it were a disruptor or a photon torpedo. And that does not apply to overloads or enveloping. You cannot bolt an enveloping torpedo.
All right.
All right. So I think that covers all of the rules. I've been talking for a good solid 40 minutes now. Let's get into the game.
Fire up the battle music.
Fire up the battle music. Let's make it happen. All right. So is the music playing?
I don't think so.
No. Okay. Let me see if I can figure out why. I added it. I don't know why it's not playing. Okay. There it is. Where are you? No worries. It's playing now. I think.
Yep.
It was. And the song stopped. So we're waiting for the next song. There we go. All right. then we are away. So I'm going to go ahead and start with energy allocation on my side. Bennett, you can do the same.
Are you choosing positions?
Oh, yeah, by all means.
And then what readiness are we starting at?
We'll expect, unless I say otherwise going forward, that we're weapon status 3. So that means 3 full turns of charging for plasma torpedoes. Up to 2 specialized shuttles already prepared and ready to go, and full phaser capacitors.
All
right.
Okay.
Don't need that. Do you need this? All right. Oh.
Okay. Let me mark out my starting spot.
Oh, right. Starting spot. Yeah, let me pull that up as well. See where I'm going to start. Okay. Great. I'm started.
All right.
I'll go ahead and reveal first, because I am starting exactly where my ship is.
As am I.
XX20. All right, sweet. So that was easy. All right, now we can allocate power.
Oh, well, you're a little bit ahead, but all right. Where? Oh, I'm stupid. Okay. Staring at the Excel sheet, expecting my SSD to pop up there soon. Let's go with.
There was a rule that I wanted to look up before we started to determine if a particularly sneaky tactic that I have in mind is viable. But I don't think I'm going to have the time.
Not with full charge or not.
That's true.
There it is. I can do that there, right? Okay, do I want to?
Okay. Nope, that answers that question. Okay. Good to know.
Sure, we'll do this. What could go wrong? Okay.
You about ready? You're ready then?
I'm ready.
I'm just wrapping up. I've got to pull up the. Remember that this ship is a 2/3 movement cost.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Oh.
Keep that in mind.
I don't need to be going this fast.
Okay.
So
That's a good problem to have. Is having more power than you really need to do what you want to do.
I have a feeling it's not going to last for very long.
So,
do I need to pay to hold?
Your plasma S does hold at 2.
Yep.
Your F's do
the
not.
Other ones don't.
Correct.
Perfect.
Let's see. Looking real quick at Oh, okay. That answers that question.
Oh, I'm... Okay, give me a second.
Alright. Now I am overcharged, so that's... Well... Yeah, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Alright.
I'm gonna do this just so I don't lose where I am.
Are you prepared?
Yep, I'm ready.
Alright, then
You
we'll
need
go
to
ahead.
move back to the wall there.
What's that? I'm actually
shift button.
I'm on 20, so that's the last hex there on the route.
For some reason I was seeing you up on TT20.
Oh, weird.
I don't know. Okay.
Make sure that I got the screen set. There we go. All right. Speeds.
20.
Oh boy.
No, 21. Sorry.
Oh. Okay. Well, let me add the ships to the initiative counter. A second. And let's see. Add turn. I am the Shrike. I'm gonna move yours just ahead so I can get it where I need it to be.
Right.
And you're the Fafnir. Fafnir, okay.
Yeah, the Norse dragon.
Yes. I love it.
Let's do it.
Alright, cool beans. I'm 12. You said
Okay.
21?
I did say 21.
Okay. Oh, I put them in the wrong order. Fix that. Alright. Then I'll set the charts. I'll go ahead and remove, for the time being, the SSDs. There we go. Kill the dice roller. And set the charts. So, where's the chart? There's the chart. 21s. I'll go ahead and put 6s on the board for shuttles. And we know that 32s are also on the board. So, hide those. Hide those. Hide. No! Sorry. Too many things going on.
Good.
Hide. Alright. 6s, 12s, 21s, and 32s. That's all we have on the board currently. Great. Then let us begin. Impulse 1. Nobody moves. Impulse 2. 21s.
Let's do this.
Let's do it. Come get some, Fafnir.
You know I will.
Impulse 3. 12s. Yeah! Impulse 4. 21s. Impulse 5. 21s. Impulse 6. 12s. Yeah! Impulse 7. 21s. Impulse 8. 21s and 12s. Impulse 9. Nobody. Impulse 10. 21s. Impulse 11. Everybody.
I'm so used to being the slower ship. You say 21, like, why isn't he moving?
Checking range. 13. Oh boy, well, this is happening very quickly.
Mm-hmm. That's the plan.
That is the plan. Impulse 15. Sorry, sir. Impulse 12. Line 15. Impulse 12. Nobody moves. Impulse 13. 21s. Impulse 14. 21s and 12s.
Did you
And
move?
the slower ship moves first. Yep. Okay. Impulse 15. Nobody. Impulse 16. 21s and 12s.
Okay.
I am launching torpedoes.
Okay.
There are 3 torpedoes currently. One of them is 30 points.
Mm-hmm.
2 of them are 20 points.
Okay.
Let me keep track or actually record what they are for the sake of fairness on my energy allocation form. And the impulses that they are launched. So impulse 16, they are launched. Okay. That is recorded. We have 32s on the board.
And it's
Impulse.
5 turns for you to go under.
5 impulses, correct.
Yeah, impulse.
Yes. Impulse 17, 32s and 21s. I am engaging cloaking device.
Yeah, I thought so. I'm not doing that. I will shoot off some torpedoes of my own, though.
Okay.
Actually, I'm gonna shoot off 2. 2 20s.
Ooh, okay.
2. I will write that there. Alright.
All right. Impulse 18. Let me mark. I'm marking on my table here that I engaged cloak on 17.
Okay.
All right. On impulse 18, 32s only.
Range
I am-
5.
I'm 1 step up,
Mm-hmm.
or I guess down.
Should have gone faster.
Impulse 19. Everybody moves.
Okay. Yeah.
I am 2 down.
How greedy do I guess I won't be greedy. I guess I will be greedy. Alright. Nothing from me.
Okay. Impulse 24, 21s, and 32s.
Mm-hmm.
It's impulse 20, by the way, not impulse 24.
Okay. Yeah. I'm shooting at your
Okay.
your torpedoes.
Okay.
Let's see what bears. I think everything bears. Yeah, because those are 360. All right. Range 2.
Range is currently 2.
That means let me do some quick math really quick. Kill that 30.
You can fire everything at the 30.
As long as it won't like overkill it or something.
You got to do 60 total points of damage to kill it.
Yeah, so I'll just blast everything at the 30.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean. let's
So
go ahead and
8
do this.
phaser ones at the 30.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Gosh. 6. Oh my gosh.
Well,
3.
they can't all be bad rolls, right?
You'd think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
There we go.
There we go.
There's 1, 1. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 6, 6, 6.
Yep.
All right, I'll pull up a chart so that I can help.
It is 7 plus 6 plus 4 plus 4.
I'm counting 35.
Yep.
35 points of damage to that plasma, which reduces its warhead by 17.
We'll take it.
Okay. That was on Impulse
20.
Impulse 20, correct. All right. Impulse 21. 32s only. Our ship's passing the night. That's 21, so 18, 19, 20, 21. I'm on Impulse 4 of my fade out. Impulse 22. Everyone moves. I'm clearly going to slip.
Well, I think I've made up my mind on what to think about this cloaking device.
All right.
I don't like it.
Well, it's not over yet.
No, it's far from it.
All right, so have your torpedoes moved yet? They have not.
Yes.
Correct.
Oh, they have not, right?
Yeah. There you go. And then mine are going to strike.
Yep.
That's going to be. See, that's
a lot of damage.
That is Impulse 22, so they have moved 6 times.
Yep.
All right, so that means the Fs will only do 15 each. And the S would have done 30, but it has been reduced by 17, so it only does 13. So that is 43 points of damage.
On shield, I don't know.
2?
Shield 6 or 2? Yeah, shield 2.
Yeah. All right. Well, fortunately for you, your Gorn buddies have really thick shields all the way around. So
that's 30 on the shield.
Yeah,
that's
30.
One of the reasons I like these guys.
Yeah, they're tough. They're tough to kill. So shield 2
is down.
Yeah, shield obviously it will collapse.
And 13 internal looks like.
And we'll do 13 internals now. All right. I'll pull up the DAC. You want to roll those?
Yeah. Well, let's see. What do I not want to lose?
Well, fortunately for you, you're blessed with a good hull as well. Not as good as the Fed of the same size as you.
Oh yeah.
But you're fairly well blessed.
Yeah, I'm just. If I lose my tractor beams, I'm in shambles.
Well, let's hope that I don't hit very many tractor beams then.
Whopping
you ready?
2 I have. All right. Start going. 13, and that's a 10 right off the bat.
10 is a phaser.
Okay.
And it's got to be one that bears to the front right side. They're all phaser 1, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
You want the number 2?
Take 3. If we can.
It's wrong side.
I know my rights and my lefts. Trust me. 5 or 6. I don't care.
Okay.
Take one of them.
Let's pop number 6 then. All right, that's 1 hit.
Yeah. Okay. There's the button. 6.
6 is a forward hull. You can weather that.
Yeah. 8.
8 is an aft hull.
Right.
Plenty of that.
Yeah. 9.
9 is a left warp engine. That's gonna sting a bit.
4.
4 is another phaser.
Another wing.
Okay.
11. Oh my god.
That's a torpedo. You gotta choose.
Oh my god. Take an F.
Doesn't matter which one.
Nah, I don't care.
Pop the.
Oh, actually, I think it's only the one that faces.
Only
right?
phasers have the facing
Oh, okay, yeah.
restriction.
That's fine.
All right. That is 5 hits.
Oh, is it 5? 1, 2, 3.
No,
4,
it is 6 hits.
5.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're correct. I missed one.
9.
Is a forward hull.
Right. 3.
Is a drone, but you don't have drones, so it's a phaser.
God. Okay, that's one of the front ones.
Yep.
Another 3.
That is an impulse. Okay.
Okay. What was that? I scrolled up.
8 is another aft hull.
Right.
Okay.
7.
7, you don't have cargo on this one? No, so it is a forward hull.
Right.
Alright.
8.
8 is another aft hull, and let me make sure. 1 is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. One more to go.
Okay. 7.
7 is another forward hull.
Okay, I can live with that, I guess.
So I've denuded you of a torpedo and 3 phasers.
And how many things do I have to fire that?
8 impulses if you still need to fire that F.
Yeah.
Okay. Then that takes care of the damage. I will update our impulse tracker here, as it is impulse. I don't know what impulse it is, so I am lost. Impulse 22.
So, impulse 30. Or, maybe I already shot it. Who can say?
Who can say? So 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. I'm at +5 on my fade out. On impulse 23, I will be fully cloaked. All right, impulse 23.
Want to get those torpedoes off my ship?
No, I don't, but I will anyway.
Thank you.
Yep.
Impulse 23.
Impulse 23, 32s and 21s move. And I am fully cloaked.
Okay, so how do I determine if these things keep going?
Well, go ahead and move them, because the range matters. Yeah. Alright, so now, for each torpedo, and for your ship, we're going to run through that formula. So I'm going to pull up the formula again on my screen. And I just lost everything. Something just... Okay, there we go. Alright, I'm pulling up the formula here. I gotta get the page number for that so that it's easier to get back to. But there we go. Plasma torpedoes. Nope, it's not plasma torpedoes, it's under cloaking. G14. Okay. There we are. Okay, you're attempting to maintain a lock-on that you already have. So it is S minus adjustment minus range factor plus speed factor minus 4. So sensor is 6. Range adjustment for your torpedoes, they're currently a range 2. So that is a 0. Speed factor is a 2 because I'm moving speed 12. So you're effectively the formula is effectively an 8 before we hit the minus 4. So it is a 4 or lower, and each torpedo can potentially still maintain a lock. Yep. So that's unfortunate for me, but it is what it is.
And then it's roll for each separately?
Yes.
Okay. 4.
Okay, so the first one maintains. Second one maintains.
This is what we needed. Okay.
And third one?
Oh, for me.
Oh, you have 2. You only fired 2 there.
Yeah,
I thought you had
2.
Yeah, okay, so and now you roll for yourself. The range
I have ECCM of 6.
only matters out to a certain only matters to countering my ECM, and I don't have any.
Okay, I figured I'd say that just in case.
So your range is 4, which means you're in the same category. So you're rolling for a 4 or better.
Right.
Yeah, 4 or less, and you
hold.
maintain lock on. And you hold. Great. Okay. Shit, that's not good.
This is very good.
That's not good at all. I need to make some quick calculations on exactly what I'm going to do next.
How about surrender?
Yeah, how about no, Scott? All right. Well, damn, that's unfortunate. What can I do? Not a whole lot. But you know what? We're gonna see what happens here. Okay, well that's the movement phase for Impulse 23. Do we have anything else that you're looking to do?
Nope.
Okay, then we'll move on to the next Impulse. Impulse 24 is 32s and 12s. I've slipped. I cannot slip again. My turn mode is not 1 for the ship, I don't think. I doubt that it's that good, even at this speed. No, so I'm just gonna go forward.
Okay, I don't remember what these. We'll do this. No, not that. Thank you.
Yeah, just gonna move on in. All right, so now I have to take some fairly drastic action here. I am going to drop 4 batteries into ECM. What that will do is it will change the ECM shift. Your torpedoes have 3 ECCM built in. My 4 will override that and bring it to a 1 shift on my behalf, which causes a reroll for the lock one. This is called the ECM yo-yo. As long as I can change the dynamic on the ECM shift, I can force rerolls. I can't do it for your ship because it didn't change for your ship. Your 6 right. ECCM burns through all 4 of mine, so it doesn't matter. Yep. But your torpedoes potentially will potentially lose their lock on. So you roll for each of your torpedoes again. This time it is at, see, the range hasn't changed. The speed factor hasn't changed, but the ECM shift has changed. So it's a 3 or lower, and they maintain.
Yeah. All right. That's 1.
Damn it! This did not go so well for me. Okay.
I sacrificed the torpedo for these rolls.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, all right. Then, what do I need to do here?
Correct me if I'm wrong. It also takes turn for your fire control to takes time for your fire control to turn back on.
Four impulses. That's correct.
Yeah. Perfect.
I am going to go ahead and no, I'm gonna do nothing this turn. So this impulse rather. Though I do need to record my batteries. So hold on for just a second. Okay, 4 points of battery power used. That is unfortunate that it got me nothing. And we move on to the next impulse. Yeah, we're okay. Impulse 25, 21s, and 32s. All right. Are those real torpedoes?
They are real.
Okay. So now we roll against the seeking weapon chart.
Yep.
And that determines the actual warhead strength. So they have moved. You launched them on what impulse?
Oh, not 30. That's
No.
what I wrote down. I'm an idiot.
30 is when you can still fire your.
Yeah.
Not that it matters because these are real.
Great job, Ben. Let me check.
Either the impulse after.
It's the impulse after yours.
Okay, so I fired on 16. It means yours fired on 17, which means
17.
they have moved 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. That's 15 apiece.
Yep.
Initially. Now I need you to roll a 1d6 for each one, and we'll determine based on that roll how much damage they actually do. All right. So for the 5, a 5 and a 1. So the 1 is normal damage. The 5 is a quarter damage. So 5 is. Oh, hang on a second.
Is going to be the quarter is 3.7 or 3.75.
Yeah, it's round up for normally. So 5.5 and better is up. Less than 0.5 is down. So 4 points for that one, and 15 points for the other one. And that struck me on my number 6.
6.
All right. So that's 19 points of plasma damage on my number 6 shield. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. My shields are not as thick as yours are, so that hurt me more.
Mm-hmm.
And you've still got more coming. You still got that big daddy S that you're holding on to.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, I know how this works. All right. Just a quick glance at my SSD to see what my options are here. And they're not great. Not great at all. Okay. I think this is where I get anchored and blown up.
Well,
I think this is where I get anchored and blown up.
you know.
Here we go. Let's find out.
Let's find out.
All right, so okay. Damn it. That is unfortunate.
Oh, I think I misread this.
What's
so
up?
for the tractor beam auction, is it what are we? So if I put more power into my tractor beam, is that the energy I'm auctioning, or is it batteries I'm auctioning?
Well, so you have allocated so much power for your tractor beam. At the moment that you activate a tractor beam, you draw from whatever power you placed into your tractor beam. You can add to that with batteries, but you have to do that as part of the auction if you're going to.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right.
All right.
Then here we are, I guess. Impulse 26. 21s. Yep.
Hi.
Hi. Let's see. What can I do here? Not a whole lot. Let's see. You maintained a lock on, so there's no reason for me to have my cloak on. Yeah, I gotta deactivate my cloak.
Okay.
Right. I do have to deactivate my cloak, right?
Man, all I'm saying is that
you're about to void it anyway.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, no, I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it on. There are reasons.
Okay.
Okay. Impulse 27, 12s and 32s.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to.
Yeah.
Let's see. What am I going to do?
All I'm saying is that my electronic warfare officer's getting a hefty promotion after this one.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. He's a big old boy. He earned every dino snack that he gets.
Yeah.
And that is. Damn it, that is that. Impulse 28. 21s. Impulse 29. 21s.
Yeah, I think we better get an auction going then.
Okay, so you're gonna try to lock on a tractor?
Yes, sir.
So I am still effectively. Oh, you have a lock on, so
yeah.
Let me see real quick. So I don't know, since I'm in fade out period, I turned off. No, I left it on. I left it on, so it doesn't matter. You got a lock on. My tractor is effectively worthless against you at the moment.
If I'm shooting other things, do I have to announce them now too?
Tractor beam happens before the direct fire phase. If you are going to launch seeking weapons, I can check the AMX to see what happened, what the order of operations is there.
Also launching seeking weapons.
I kind of thought that might be the case. So this is page 202. I'll go down to the 490, which is the.
What?
Go ahead.
What impulse is this again?
This is impulse 29.
Okay.
All right. So retain your lock on because nothing else has happened. Ship functions. Tractor happens before seeking weapons.
Right.
All right. So you're attempting a tractor lock on. Okay. I guess. I'll put on the fingers of one hand what I am available to commit to a tractor auction.
Okay.
And you can just tell me after. You can tell me what yours is, and then I will. I will reveal. So how many points of power are you putting in?
I think I got you beaten on the hand scale. I'm at 6.
Okay, and here's mine. Big old goose egg.
Yeah.
That's what I got. So you effectively have me in tractor lock. That changes some things for us. Number one, it's going to affect our speeds. Fortunately, we're the same size of ship, so effectively we half our speeds. Fortunately for me, we already have 6s on the board, so I don't have to change that much. But I'm going to put 11s on the board.
Okay.
Let's see. You're moving speed 21, and it is going to round down, I think.
That's fine.
So you're going to be speed 10. I'm speed 12, speed 6. You're speed 10. I will confirm that offline. I think that it's not going to matter so much for the purposes of this battle.
If I'm going the opposite direction as you, does that affect it more?
It does not.
Okay.
No. So what happens going forward is that since we are the same size, whenever your number comes up, you move both of us in the same direction. So if you move forward, you push me forward. If you side slip, I go with you. And then same thing happens on my moves. I move both of us. So yeah. I guess. So, go ahead.
In theory, if I'm going on the opposite direction, we're just gonna go bouncing back and forth in the same spot.
Well, we're not going the same speed, and we're not going in the same direction.
Oh, so I just drag you in the direction I want.
You're just pushing me along, yeah. All right. Boy, this is starting to look really, really bleak for the Romulan here.
Alright, I have some weapons I'm also deploying.
Yes, I imagined that was probably the case.
I have a since I have 2 shuttle bays, I get 2 shuttles, right?
You do. Oh gods.
And you remember what I was asking about last time?
Yes, I do.
Or the other day?
Oh
There's
my
2
god.
shuttles,
Yeah.
and then there is a single.
Let me look at that again just to make sure. Wow, this. Yep, 2 separate bays.
Yep.
Ooh boy.
2 shuttles and a power of 30 torpedo.
Okay. Well, then,
That's my turn.
and I can't do anything about it because I'm still
Oh,
under
and
cloak.
for the record, they're all controlled by my ship directly.
Yeah, I know.
Just making.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Well, I have to pray that my cloak will protect me from some of that damage, and try to live to fight another day. All right. We will continue on then. Impulse 30. 32s only.
That's
That means that-
contact.
That means 30 points of, well, now we roll. So, 1d6 for the torpedo, because I'm still under cloak.
Yeah. A 1.
Okay, so that's 30 points of damage.
All right.
That means 25 go in.
Yeah.
Ow! All right. We'll roll those, I guess.
All right. Whenever you're ready.
Let me undo the. Oh wait. There we go. Undo the damage on the DAC and create a new layer, so I don't have to worry about it next time. Wait. Come on, dude. There we go. All right, let's roll them.
All right. 6.
Forward hull.
5.
Right warp.
3.
Drone, which I do not have. So I'll take a phaser.
4.
Which is another phaser. Has to bear. Okay.
7.
Forward hull.
7.
Forward hull.
Or 9.
Left warp.
4.
Transporter. Ow. There it is.
6.
Forward hull. And that is the last time in that category. No, it
Another
isn't.
6.
I've got more hull that I didn't see before. That's good. All right.
You get
I'm
that
set.
second
Yeah,
6.
I'm set on the second 6.
Okay. 9.
Is forward hull again. Fantastic.
4. Or 8.
8 is an aft hull.
Okay. 7.
Is a forward hull, and that is truly the last time in that category.
Okay. 9.
Forward hull cargo battery. Okay.
11.
Torpedo.
Now we're even.
Now we are even.
6.
Impulse.
5.
Aft hull.
7.
Battery.
7 again.
Okay. Battery again.
One count.
Sure. 7.
We're at 20 or so.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Let me count again. 8, 10, 12, 16, 19. I missed one. So
19. Okay.
6 to go.
8.
Is aft hull. 5 to go.
10.
Phaser. Ow. 4 to go.
Another 10.
Tractor. 3 to go.
Another 10.
Left warp. 2 to go.
8.
Aft hull. Last one.
5.
More aft hull. Okay.
That wasn't
Well, that
the
hurt.
worst thing ever.
No. You left me with 3 hull. I left you with 5. I got 3 of your phasers. You got 3 of mine.
Mm-hmm.
Got 1 torpedo. You got 1 torpedo. I hit your power twice. You hit mine 4 times.
4 times, yeah.
And then you got 3 of my 5 batteries.
Yep.
Damn it. Okay.
All right.
Well, that is that. Okay. Impulse 31. Nobody moves.
Mm-hmm.
And Impulse 32, everyone moves their last. So, still maintains the same. I will move us first, which will drag both of us in this direction.
Yep, I'll move my guy. And then I will slip.
And pull us right back.
Yep.
And then your suicide shuttles strike.
Yeah.
All right. That is painful. That's 2
shuttles.
suicide shuttles, right?
Yep.
And the thing of it is, I could not even turn. I didn't have a choice in the matter. You locked me down. All right, so that's an additional 36, unless my cloak is maintained. Go ahead and roll for both of them since they're seeking weapons. 4, that'll be half damage.
4.
So half damage, that's 18 points. 18 more points go in.
Yep.
And those are, I would say that those are considered a single salvo because they're similar to how drones work. Let me see. What's that going to leave me? That's not going to leave me with a whole. Well, that's only 18. Okay, let's just take them. Let me switch to a different color.
Okay.
I'm not in a good spot here for sure, but I don't think that I'm completely out of the game yet. We're going to switch to black. And I'll cut the... There we go. All right, 18. Rolling.
Right. 8.
Is aft hull.
10.
Is a phaser. Has to bear. That burns me up. Okay.
8.
8 again is aft hull.
7.
7 is forward hull battery. Oh, damn.
8.
Aft hull.
11.
Torpedo. God, that hurt.
Alright. 10.
It's a phaser. No, wait, it's not. Because we hit that phaser already. It's a tractor. Oh, no.
Oh.
Wait a second.
Is that your second tractor?
That is my second and only tractor.
Oh,
Well, that's it. That's it right there. That basically ends the game because now while I can still turn and get better shields to you, I cannot get away. I cannot recloak. I can't do anything. So yeah, looking across the SSD, I can't fight back. Really, the only thing you knocked off 2 of my torpedoes. Yeah, that was really quick. It's it can happen just that quickly when you're dealing with the plasma boys. They do.
These guys feel like haymakers.
High damage high damage impulses followed by a couple of turns, or high damage turns followed by a couple of turns of backing away and rearming. They're like the Federation on steroids in that they can hit that much harder, but I could have potentially done 70 points of damage to you on a shot if I had got those in there. Kind of like what you did to me. But yeah, that's pretty much that. I mean, we can roll those out the rest of the way, but it's not going to change the outcome really. So what did ponies do wrong in this instance?
Well, first of all, you got unlucky with your cloak.
I got really unlucky with the cloak, but I was moving entirely too fast for as close as I got. What I should have done probably is sacrificed damage on the torpedoes by firing them earlier, or have done some kind of deception. Fire the fake S torpedo along with the real F torpedoes. Let you soak up all your phaser damage on the S torpedo, and then been able to wait and use the S at a later time. I got really shitty rolls on the cloak. I hope to lose to shake off some of your seeking weapons for sure.
Yeah.
Or lose the
held those seeking weapons too until I was up here. It's probably an unneeded risk on my part.
Yeah.
To shoot off the Fs early.
Yeah. But yeah, so there's a number of things that I could have done better there. But a lot of it came down to rolls, really.
Yeah.
You got really good rolls on the things that you needed to get really good rolls on, and they just didn't go my way. The dice just were not on my side today. Again, I got too close, still moving too fast, and I didn't put enough into things like ECCM or ECM, which I could have. But so the thing of it is on this ship the cloak costs 15 points of power. So
that's a lot of power.
That's a lot of power. If I had chosen a different tactic, a little more ponies tactic, I probably would have foregone the cloak on turn 1, ran up, shot at you, and then turned and tried to outrun your torpedoes for a little bit longer and not let you get that close to me. I was trying something a little different from what I'm used to. I was going to try to get in a cheap shot and then get away, and then just run you around the map for 3 turns. That did not happen. That very clearly did not happen.
How much energy does the Sparrowhawk have total?
31. So it's 31. Almost half my power is in the cloak. Yeah, that's rough, and it's gonna be that way for all Romulan ships. Is if you have 24 points of warp energy, you're likely going to be spending a good 2/3, if not 3/5 of that on cloak. Very, very close to that. It's and the same thing for 30-point ships. I think it's like 21. It's just it is a really, really great tool when you can use it the right way, when you can get it going the right way.
Or when the opponent's electronic warfare officer is not just the greatest ever seen.
Yes, that was
tonight.
Your sensor operator was the man, or he was definitely the Gorn this time around.
I think I rolled like 4 out of 7 ones or something.
You rolled fantastically there. But that's the way it happens in these games. Like, they can be decided just that quickly. The Fafnir pounds the Shrike into space dust And this is exactly what Gorns are intended for as well. They close with, they lock down, they pound. Mm-hmm. And the Romulans just can't stand up in that kind of a fight. Like, if you, as you saw, two salvos is all it took. And then I can't break your tractor. The best I can do is hope to shoot at you enough to knock out your tractors. But what, you've got...
I have 2 as well.
You've got 2 as well. So it's going to take either 2 good salvos or a lot of hits and a lot of really good rolls. And where's the... Yeah. If I look at the damage chart, to hit another tractor, I've got to go through, at my earliest, I got to go through either all of your forward hull, impulse, lab, and left warp, or all of your aft hull, APR, shuttle, and right warp.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to hit 2 tractors on a single salvo. And I was hoping that you would have equal trouble in knocking out both of mine. If I get to turn 2, then I break your tractor lock, and I try to get away. It's as simple as that. I just try to put everything I can into breaking that tractor, and just try to get away. But you played very well in not presenting a down shield to me after you came in. Taking the plasmas on a flank shield as opposed to, or an oblique shield as opposed to your front, that means then that you can just lock me down and stay center line, and just whatever phasers you still have, they all bear to your center line. So you can just stick with me and blow me up. And that is exactly what you would do in this instance. You have me. There's nothing I can do to get away. The best I can hope for is to get my next move. I can turn into you, put up another shield, and then start whittling through your front shield. But your front shield is what? 36?
What?
Yeah, it's 36.
Yeah.
That's a very thick front shield for a light cruiser. Very thick. I can
turn and give you another 36 shield, or 30 shield.
Yeah, and mine's 28? So, I 1-to-1, no, there's just no way. You've got more phasers than I do. You've got all of your remaining phasers, all 5 of them are phaser 1s. And at range 1, you're just going to pound me. I've got 3 phaser 1s and 2 phaser 3s, one of the phaser 3s doesn't bear. And won't. And, yeah, so 1-to-1 in a stand-up fight, the Romulan does not stand a chance. I have to use superior maneuver and tactics to get damage in on you and slip away long enough for me to reset and do it again. And you were singularly minded, and you were not going to let me do that this time, and the rolls just didn't go my way. That's how it goes sometimes. But that was fun.
That was fun.
We'll have to try this again. Maybe we'll upgun a little bit, go to slightly larger ships. We'll do Plasma Boys one more time before we switch over to the other side of the galaxy and go over to the Lyrans and the Hydrons. So whenever we play the next time, we'll maybe go up to heavy cruisers. Right. I'll do the Firehawk, and we'll get you a CA. And we'll see if I can do slightly better the next time.
Yeah.
As far as guns go, for the Firehawk and the Gorn CA, we just add a torpedo. It'll be 2 S's and 2 F's. That's the standard package for a heavy cruiser for the plasma side. 2 S's, 2 F's. But everything else is largely the same. I think there'll be a couple more phasers on each one. You might actually get some phaser 3s, who knows.
What? No way.
Yeah.
These guys seem to have phaser 1s and phaser 1s only.
Phaser 1s aplenty. Yeah, you're right.
I'm excited to play the Tholians, or whatever they're called. But
the Hydrons with the fighters?
The Hydrons, yes. But
so you want to play them?
Yes, the lasers and the... Yes, those seem fun. But the other guys, there goes my memory. What's the other guys called?
The Lyrans?
Lyrans.
Lyrans and the Cassini. So we're skipping the Cassini for the most part because they're just Klingons with more drones.
More drones.
basically.
Yeah, those guys I was very scared to play against because I could do without more drones.
They tend to have fewer phasers, I think, and more phaser 3s because they expect to be fighting against drones.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're not that dissimilar in tactics to the Klingon. They have more drones, and they generally will have more drones on the board, and you'll just be dealing with waves, like because most of their ships have that double their sensor value in seeking weapons, so you could have as many as 12 drones on the board against you at any given time, or 12 seeking weapons.
It's almost like a big fleet battles. It's worth the weight in gold to just have like a few light cruisers with no heavy weapons at all and just phasers.
Yeah, or that's primarily what frigates are for. It's just because they don't have a whole lot in heavy weapons, but they have their weight in phasers. 5 or 6 phasers per.
Green out all those drones.
The hydrants will be interesting because we'll be introducing fighters to the mix, and while the BPV value for the Lyran ship will be higher to account for the fighters, the action economy and your ability to with fighters to come from all sides is something to be. There's something to say for that.
Yeah. I haven't looked too much into them, but from the little bit I have, they look like they're going to be the hardest to play.
They're tough. Yeah,
I'm all in for.
But they're my favorite. They're my favorite race to play. They have a lot of the same kind of things as far as their tactics are similar from a ship-to-ship standpoint, because all of their weapons are very close range, so they want to get in close like the Gorn and pound, but they don't have seeking weapons at all, and so their ships or their fighters kind of take the place of their seeking weapons. But they're autonomous in that they can fly around and fire their weapons on multiple turns. And the Stingers are nasty in that they carry the dreaded Phaser G, the Gatling phaser. It's a Phaser 3 that can fire 4 times. That is terrifying to go up against. But in any case, we'll go ahead and call it there. I am saddened that the action took probably half as long as the discussion before the leading up to the actual fight. But that's the way that it goes sometimes. It's just the way that it is.
I do need to make my obligatory pitch to Olives. That see, the Gorn ships aren't that hard. You just punch him, so you should play with us next time.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get him in. It'll likely be January before we get rolling again. We got a lot going on in these next couple of weeks as far as family stuff, and it is likely that while we will have, let me look at the calendar here. I'm not in December yet. The likelihood of there being, so we'll have the stream as usual Thursday, Friday, Saturday this week, unless something comes up. But then we'll probably be done for the year after this Saturday. And we probably won't have any additional streams until after, well, certainly until after Christmas, but maybe not until after New Year. So we'll look to maybe pick this up again sometime early January, do another plasma battle, and then decide what we want to do after that. Hydrons, Lyrans, and
that's good.
Decide from there.
When are you guys picking up Bloodstone again?
We will pick up Bloodstone again in January as well. I'm planning for the first full week. Let me look one more time at the calendar.
The 9th?
Yes, most likely on the 9th of January. That will be when we make our glorious return to Bloodstone on Tuesdays. But that still leaves us with Mondays open, so we can still do these. If we want to start doing that again, maybe starting on the 8th. So we'll see how it goes.
Sounds good to me.
We'll keep talking about things on the Discord and answering any questions that you might have. But well played once again. Promote that man or that lizard.
he's going from rank 1 to rank 15 now. He's now a rear admiral.
Right. Yeah, he definitely made his bones today. But I guess we'll say goodnight there. Once again, have a great evening. We'll see you on Thursday for some ARM Apocalypse action. And until then, GG's. Good night.
G.